So, Captain, we're having this conversation under quite unusual circumstances with such an unprecedented pandemic. This world is facing. Uh, so, what what's actually happening in the aviation industry? I mean, how do you see things shaping up right now?
Well, difficult. The industry has certain barriers placed by various governments. There are restrictions to where they can go. Countries have issues, and passengers are, well, at least in India now, there's no quarantine when you reach anywhere else. So India specific, the capacity has been restricted by the government. It was early 60%. I think they now think you're changing to 75%. It's only when the industry is allowed to operate unfettered, and without any barriers, can it move forward? So we are hoping that the ministry would look at it that way, because ultimately aviation is of paramount importance for the mobility of the economy. But if economy to move, aviation is very important. And nations are recognizing it. China has recognized it. China aviation is almost back to normal. But they're not in such a dire COVID situation like the rest of the world is. Europe is going into a second round.
Yeah.
So I see domestic aviation picking up. International aviation will take a long time.
Mm-hmm. But do you think the government is moving in the right direction with regard to the way things are kind of timed, or because it's a situation that we have never seen. I mean, it's just like slowly unfolding.
Yeah, I tell you what, they're moving in the right direction, but I think they're erring on the side of overcaution. Mm-hmm. Because as a principle, the government has decided to open up, right? There are no lockdowns. We're opening up the economy, and we peaked. Now we're reducing in the peak, and it's very important for economic activity to restart for the country and for the population. So caution is good. Overcaution is a little not so good. And I feel that the Civil Aviation Ministry is erring on the side of overcaution.
But
yeah. And let the industry decide. Let the passengers decide whether they want to fly or not. Let the airlines decide how much they want to fly, rather than restricting them. Mm-hmm. So there seems to be a veiled feeling of a hint that certain protectionist measures are also being taken to maybe protect certain parties. Right. I'm not making any accusations, I'm just giving an observation.
Yeah, but are such protectionist measures somewhere, do you think they are important, given that, there's this whole talk also of, at the end of this pandemic, we might not see some airlines in existence?
You see, you got to make up your mind. Do you want to regulate the industry, or you want to keep the industry unregulated? Right? If you decide the industry is to be unregulated, then the market regulates it, not the government. Now, airlines that were prior to COVID financially embarrassed are going to get more and more financially embarrassed. Airlines that were financially positive are becoming positive, financially negative. It is not the government's mandate to protect any airline. If that was the mandate, then why did it not protect Kingfisher? Why did it not protect Jet Airways? Why? Okay, Air India is their own airline. It belongs to the government. They're the owners. They can do what they want with it, and they're not doing a very good job of what they want with it. They don't know whether they want to keep it, don't know whether they want to leave it. They can't live with it, and they can't live without it. So that's a different issue. Let's keep everybody out of it.
Yeah.
As it is domestically, they have a very, very little market share. So there has to be there definitely will be consolidation. Unless there's consolidation, the industry will keep suffering. See, it's a very price-sensitive market, and there's very little brand loyalty as such. You know, we're talking about brand loyalty. If you and I have to travel and we get a 500 rupees cheaper ticket, we'll take that ticket. Simple. You say 500 bucks. So, no, I will pay extra 500 or 1,000 rupees because I'm loyal to Vistara or I'm loyal to SpiceJet or I'm loyal to Go Air. Doesn't work here. So that's why I keep saying that when people are buying Jet Airways for the brand loyalty, I think they're suckers. There is no such thing as brand loyalty in this country. Brand loyalty builds up when two full service carriers are competing. In the LCC, there's no brand loyalty. That's why LCCs don't have any frequent flyer programs. Those all things cost. So they don't go that way.
Yeah, but
India,
Captain,
domestic is the LCC market.
But Captain, at the time of at the time when you were heading the operations at Indigo, that was a time when Indigo was known for its best on-time performance, right? And I remember, people would always vouch by Indigo's time, and I mean that was something that was attracting people to it, right?
Yeah, okay. It's like this. When you're small, 50 aircraft or less, it's very easy to get a very high on-time performance. Okay?
Yeah.
As you become bigger and bigger and bigger, and your network gets interdependent, on-time performance will not be at the level that you sold it at. So for an airline of say 200, 250 airplanes, an on-time performance of 80% plus is excellent. That's the norm all over the world. Be it United, be it American, be it any airline. The large airlines have it that way. Aircraft with 10, 15 aircraft, 20 aircraft can deliver a very good on-time performance. AirAsia with 20 aircraft was giving a better on-time performance than anyone else.
Yes.
So that's not a measure. You have to compare apples with apples. When you want to compare on-time performance, compare airlines with similar fleet strengths and similar networks.
Captain, how
but
was
by and large,
yeah.
Sorry, huh?
No.
By and large, that perception still exists. That if I have to go on time, I'd rather go by Indigo. They will be a little late, maybe, but not inordinately late. Right? Like in the good old days, when we were Indian Airlines, when we were the only operator under the Air Corporation Act, if you flew on the same calendar day, you were on time. Your on-time performance was measured if you flew on the same calendar day. At least you gave a connectivity. So things have changed.
Yes. So, Captain, you've you've worked with both Indigo and Alliance Air, which recently announced that it's made profits for the first time ever. We'll come to Alliance Air, but how was it? How was it like? Setting up Indigo from scratch? And I know for a fact that I mean, it was one of my questions, but I'll just use the answer here to that Indigo happens to be your favorite airline. So how was it to
Okay, well, I treat Indigo like a baby. Okay, like a baby. Indigo startup was tough because we were new to the low-cost concept, having coming from the Indian Airlines background. Plus, working with the expats was again a challenge. Surprisingly, the biggest challenge for us was English. We in India speak in general terms, whereas in America, each word has a specific meaning. So there was a lot of miscommunication between us, between what we meant and what they understood. That is one issue. And but Indigo startup was tough for the simple reason that our biggest challenge was pilots. Now, we had a 100 aircraft order. We had firm delivery dates, plus minus a day or two. So we knew when the aeroplane was coming. And we had to have 5 sets of crew minimum available every 20, 25 days. My biggest challenge was finding 2 bums in the cockpit every day for every flight. You know, there's FGTL, there's the issues, but that was the challenge. And that was a period of maximum pilot shortages. 2005, 2006 had major pilot shortages. Everything was starting. Salaries were competitive. So what could we sell to the pilots? So what we did was we totally redid the pilots' contracts than any other airline. We made it very, very transparent, and we tried to make it as fair as possible. We made the payment systems fair, and we kept our word. We made sure that the salaries got to them on the 31st every month. There were no delayed payments. And one thing that the pilots really liked was they had absolutely nothing to do with HR and finance. Ask an airline pilot in India, what is his biggest bugbear? And he'll say HR and finance. But they really screw it up for the pilots. Now, we took it in-house. So the pilot would meet with HR at entry point, where he would give his documents, his photographs for his PF. And the next time he had anything to do with HR was when he exited. In between, we handled it in-house. We had our own crew management system. We handled every issue of it in-house. So that was a pleasant change. Now, as we started growing, the pilots are very finicky about where they're located. They don't want to change their domicile. They don't want to do anything. And there was parking issues. So we had to start parking aeroplanes in Jaipur, Ahmedabad, places like that. Now, no one was willing to change the domicile. And if you want to change his domicile, he was more likely to leave. So we would put them on temporary assignments. That caused soft issue problems. But we were handling them. That's where the challenge of getting 2 bums in the cockpit every day, every flight was a challenge. And I think one of the biggest issues that did come up was crew scheduling. Because pilots are used to manual crew scheduling, a human interface. The minute you brought in a computer, he looked at everything arithmetically. He says 11 hours rest, he'll put you on a flight in 11 hours, not 11 hours, 5 minutes. So those are issues for adapting to the new technology. And since we were paying a good salary, and we were paying them for a minimum of 70 hours, whether they flew it or not.
Yeah.
We had to get the utilization out of them. So it was a good mix. When I left, we were not that large an airline. The issues became more complex. The issues became more complex as the size grew beyond 100 aircraft. Of scheduling,
The complexity
locating
grew, basically.
pilots. There was there's a lot of soft issues involved, which are a challenge and will remain a challenge. But they can always reduce it.
Right. You mentioned a language, kind of the English barrier, so to speak, with the management, or the American. I think it's the American way of working, right? I mean, was that the barrier? If you can give us an example.
It took a little time getting used to. It took a little time getting used to, but it was not a challenge. See, the concepts of aviation are different than ours. They were used to doing everything the FAA way. But DGCA works I mean, FAA is from Mars and DGCA is from Venus. So that's where the issues, the challenges came.
Right. But do you see the DGCA? Do you see a marked change in DGCA's style of functioning? Are they a serious body now?
Well, till the time I was there, the DGCA's functioning was more progressive. Okay, they were improving from 2005 to 2010. There was a mass that they understood your problems and they were on board for the growth. So don't forget, that's the time we were having a growth of 20%.
Right.
Subsequently, my experience is what I hear and what I read in the press. I feel the DGCA has become more stringent. They're not that accommodating, and the reason for that is also there is that the downgrade by the FAA. When they were downgraded by the FAA, to get upgraded, they had to redo their whole structure. Their what they call the CARs had to be brought in line. The biggest problem then was oversight. By safety oversight is they did not have enough inspectors, they did not have anything to monitor the airlines. Now, where I feel that they have not kept up was that they have only one measure of compliance. It is written, this is what's written, you will comply with it. Whereas whether it's the FAA or the EU ops, they have an alternate means of compliance available. If you can comply with the regulation by an alternate means, they accept it. So DGCA is not open to an alternate means of compliance at present. A lot to do is to my mind, is to do with the administration of the DGCA, which is by and large a bureaucratic setup. The head of the DGCA is always an IAS officer. Now, there are no technocrats there. The technocrats get to only a particular level. And the DGCA has become more subservient to the ministry than it used to be. The older DGs would not always listen to the ministry. But hopefully that may change with the DGCA becoming a statutory body now. It is not a statutory body.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes. I'm hopeful. And one of the greatest person who keeps the DGCA on his feet is me on Twitter. I keep I keep hammering them, I keep hammering them, I keep hammering them, so that they move in the right direction.
Yeah.
Not that it matters very much. I mean, it's no dent. I don't think I make a dent, but that's the way it is.
So social media today is another very important, has kind of assumed itself as a very important tool. A pilot recently called out, some safety issues on social media, and that seemed to be taken to its to a conclusion by the regulator as well. So. And people get to voice their opinions. I mean, there might be a few which are, not quite up to the mark, but everybody has an opinion and they voice it there.
See, social media opinions to the government, to the DGCA, is like water over a duck's back. It makes no dent on them, right? Because because the people on social media are not guys with lakhs and a million followers.
Yeah.
Where a person makes a dent is when he's either an opinion maker or he changes things when he has lots of followers. None of the people on social media of our time have because we've not been there for a long time.
Right.
So I don't think the DGCA even reacts to what is on social media. They don't bother. They do exactly what they want to do or what they're told to do.
Yeah. But that's part of a new trend, I suppose, because DGCA nowadays puts up its orders also on social.
That will change. Hopefully that will change. Because they should see the input, because everything is not, not only, at times there's some very, very good positive suggestions on what to do and what not to do.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's true. So, Captain, what's been your biggest milestone? I mean, in your career.
Okay, my biggest milestone was the role we played in the turnaround of Indian Airlines from '96 onwards, and Alliance had played a major role in that. So actually, Alliance was a lateral solution to a problem. I remember when I proposed it, the minister was Ghulam Nabi Azad. He laughed. He said, "You can't run one airline, you want to start another." So, but what we wanted to do was remove the 737 and smoothen things out. And Alliance Air was actually very profitable in my period. We were there from '96 to, but we were never allowed to show a profit. But Indian Airlines was losing money. So whatever extra money we paid back into Indian Airlines and showed no profit. But they said, why are you showing a profit and paying tax on it, and we as it is running at a loss? So I'll give an example that when we started the first few Boeing 737s, okay, we were taking them at a couple of lakhs a month because they came with major maintenance, not with line maintenance, and we had our own infrastructure. But as we started making money, we kept increasing the money we were paid. And before I left, we were sort of siphoning in about 11, 12 crores with just 12 aircraft a month into Indian Airlines. So now maybe the accounting is different. So Alliance has made a profit. I'm very happy about that. But there's a subtle difference. Alliance Air is out of the Air India sale. It's not a part of the Air India sale.
Yes, yes, yes.
Alliance Air will continue to be a government airline. That's when we'll see, when Air India is out and Alliance is the government airline, I'm sorry, it'll go the Air India way. There's nothing else. Where the decisions are not commercial. The decisions are political or at the whims and fancies of the minister. It takes me back to the old days when we had Viaduct. Viaduct started with great fanfare. They would open stations, 60 stations in 90 days. They would do one flight, close it down, open another one, do one flight, close it down. Reminiscent of SpiceJet's seaplane, but that's a different problem. But let's see where it goes. So these are issues.
Yeah, and I remember Vayudut used to fly to Pantnagar. I don't know how briefly it did, but in Pantnagar in Uttarakhand, and now Pantnagar is recently they said Pantnagar is now on India's aviation map. So I don't know what happened in between, but yeah. So
See, ultimately, what happens is that with so many aircraft coming in, 600, 650 odd aircraft, you have to fly them somewhere, no? Now, the old system was, is there a market? Should I put a flight? There's a market for it. Now it is, I'll put a flight and I'll develop the market. I'll make it cheap enough for people who want to fly. That's the way the LCCs work.
yeah,
You put a flight into Pantnagar. Pantnagar needs to be connected to 2 or 3 places actually. Needs to be connected to Dehradun, needs to be connected to Lucknow. Once you do that connection, you will get the traffic building up. Unfortunately for these airports, these smaller airports where the traffic is low, the right aircraft fit is not available. See, either you have a 180-seater or you have a 60, 70-seater, the ATRs. These markets need a sub 40-seater, 40 to 30-seater, or you have less than 20 seats. That turboprop category is not in production anymore. That's the turboprop track that's required for our large regional connectivity scheme, the 30 to 40-seater, which will make money and make it a good business deal. With if you're flying a 70-seater and the load is only 30, 40 passengers, you're going to lose money on that.
how do you look at the regional connectivity scheme, or UDAN as they call it?
It's an excellent scheme. I think it's the best scheme the Aviation Ministry has come with, because it gives basically back to mobility of the economy. The only advantage the scheme is facing, the right type of aircraft, aircraft type.
But we also hear of HAL, looking at a Dornier variant.
But that's sub 90, that's a sub 20-seater.
Yeah.
But as it goes a little larger and as traffic builds up, then you'll be putting 2 flights, 3 flights. Whereas you could have done it with 1 flight of a slightly larger aircraft.
Right.
5, 10 years from now, the ATR 72 will be ideal for that sector. At present, it's not. It's too large.
What do you make out the Jet Airways revival plan, and do you think they're again hit by bad timing in terms of this pandemic? And
that's one issue. This is very simple. The creditors want to get as much money. Even they're getting 4 annas in a rupee back, they're happy.
Yeah.
That's what the sale is all about. They want some money back. But the people who are willing to pay a lot of money to take it over are basing their presumptions on a pre-COVID world, right? Aviation post-COVID has changed. Now, he has a couple of 777s, 330s, and a couple of 737s. The government is always showing googlies, huh? The googly is what? The rule says you need to have 20 aircraft to fly international. Now, when Jet Airways comes, he doesn't have 20 aircraft. What the F is he going to do with a 777 and a 330 domestically? Okay. Now, all of a sudden, the slots are up in the air. The slots are not assured. Now, these people were wanting to put in the money, thinking that with the 777s, we'll go international. That's not, but there is no international to go to. So if I had anything to do with this, I would tell these guys, turn tail and get out of there. Don't throw good money after bad. Because whoever this gentleman is, he's going to become a pauper if he puts in 8,000, 9,000 crores, whatever it is, and buys Jet Airways. Oh, the other people are happy because they've got some money back. What after that? I think the sale of Jet Airways is a fiasco. They should have let it die and finished it off. Unpopular. The Jet Airways employees who were there were hopeful. Will hate what I'm saying, but that's the fact. That airline cannot be resurrected post-COVID world.
So in the post-COVID world, Captain, how many airlines do you see? Do you really think that, I know aviation is a very delicate business, and you can have projections, but unless done really well, it might not add up. But how many do you really see an airline wrapping up operations?
You see, it's like this. When I say post-COVID world, the whole scenario changes. Airlines that have their own market will survive. Airlines that did not have their own market. Now, by that I mean Singapore Airlines, Etihad, Emirates, Qatar. They don't have their own market. They were taking through traffic. Now, traffic is going to become point to point. The UAE internally has no market. Singapore, as a thing, has no market. India has a market. Australia has a market. China has a market. America has a market. At least big three, where I see a problem with. But they have no captive market. The Indian domestic market is there.
Yes.
And now if India does, they tend to fly, they will not fly via. I mean, Emirates was picking up all the via go-to traffic. That's how the post-COVID world has changed.
Yeah.
Now, for point-to-point traffic to build up, is the pandemic has to come into control. Then you can do point-to-point to Europe to flights. That's how it's going to work.
Right. We should be at 3 lakh passengers, is what domestic passengers is what the minister has said. He's hopeful this will be achieved between Diwali and the New Year. You think that can happen?
It can.
Will take longer?
No, it depends. See, if you're going to constrain everyone's capacity to 60%, it won't happen. You have to get rid of that constraint on the airlines. If he's going to go bust, let him go bust. If he's going to go bust, he's going to go bust because of his problems. But if you are scared that if you open it up, airlines will suffer, airlines will close down, then no one is going to go anywhere. Everyone's going to suffer. The activity will suffer.
Right.
But the positive thing is, I think we left 50% till February. on social media, there was a major charge we led that what's wrong with you guys? I even tagged the Prime Minister and everyone on my tweets. And well, now there's some thinking of making it 75%. Okay, 75% is better than 60%. But removing all restrictions that's what the industry is about, an unregulated industry. You can't do half regulation, half unregulated. It's a khichdi they're making out of aviation over here.
Right. Yes, we hope things will improve, and airlines will also learn from all this. So, Captain, it was lovely having you on conversation with Aviators Buzz, and thank you. If there's one message you want to give the aviators of tomorrow, especially the cadets, who are actually paying so much, and what would that be? I mean, because most of them, seem to be losing hope.
Okay, I'll give a simple message. Anyone who wants to start flying, anyone who's on the basic flying, don't become a pilot right now. There are no jobs anywhere. Don't waste money hoping things will improve. You see, that's my basic message to the boys, young boys. I get lots of things. Because these cadet programs are a total rip-off. A total rip-off. To become a pilot, you join a cadet scheme run by the airline, and it is a thing that is assumed that you have a letter of intent if you join that scheme and become, costing about 1.2 crores. That's $160,000 plus for a CPLI type rating, which should not be more than $60,000 to $70,000. So someone is taking a big 50% cut. The airline is getting a cut from it, and the people providing the training are getting cut from it. It's good business for them. But then you see what people don't realize, that there's a little fine print in the LOIs. I'm giving you a letter of intent that I will hire you when you qualify, subject to me finding you suitable.
Yeah.
Before finding you suitable. If I don't need pilots, I will not find you suitable. That's where the risk is. And these people are using high interest loans to pay for this. Their parents are hawking everything. That's why I say, don't get into any other scheme right now. Don't. If you have not paid money, don't pay it. Otherwise, those are the people I'm really feeling bad for.
Those and the pilots who lost their jobs.
Don't get into aviation right now. Don't waste money. See, I tell you why. Where is the problem over here? Is that by and large, pilots in India get into aviation at a very young age. 10 plus 2, and they get into flying. Initial maturity levels are very low because they haven't gone through the maturing experience of going through college, which is the maturing experience. Plus, they have no other skills. Now, when they have no other skills, there's nothing they can do. There's no alternate occupation they can take. There's a very interesting case in point where Qantas pilots, 380 pilots of Qantas, are driving buses The Airbus pilots are driving buses, but they have a degree of labor. They know they have to earn money, right? In India, the pilot will only take a pilot's job. He'll sit on his ass. I think, he will not do anything else. One, because he's not able to do anything else. He can't get a job in the market with 10+2.
Yeah.
So if there has to be a certain change, the minimum qualifications, instead of being 10+2 with physics, chemistry, and maths, it should be minimum qualifications, graduation. I did a little innovative scheme in Indigo where I said, okay, because we were needing pilots. I said, listen, there are lots of people out there who have a passion for flying, but for some reason could not become pilots. Either didn't have the money or did not have the opportunity, so they took different paths. Let's identify how many there are. So we made a scheme for initial pilots and kept the upper age limit at 40.
40, okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
And said, but he had to be a graduate or in some a professional. We got applications from engineers, doctors, lawyers. So I recruited 60 of these people. Each one of them, we lost one in an accident. Otherwise, each one of them is in command, is in an administrative position now, or is a training captain. Because he had maturity, he had other skills. And guess what we charged them? You won't believe it. 18 lakhs.
That's
Only
it?
18 lakhs. But in those days, we bonded them for almost a crore and a half. That you have to serve us for 5 years. But we picked up the rest of the tab. Now it's become a business proposition. The airline refuses to spend any money on your training, initial training. I mean, I was trained by Indian Airlines on every aircraft. The Fokker, the Boeing, the 320, everything. We didn't pay a penny. I did my flying at 120 rupees an hour. 120 rupees an hour. People before me did it at 10 and 25 rupees an hour.
Wow.
People have got cheap
unbelievable.
At 2,500 rupees cost. So that's how the things change. But so that's what I'm saying is that people who are laid off must pick up another skill, a hobby they have.
Yeah.
Pick it up and start working there. So just sitting around, mooning around, cribbing and crying.
Yes.
But no one's listening to that cribbing and crying.
So on that note, Captain, thank you so much. That was
lovely speaking to you.
Lovely. That was a lovely conversation. Hope we could go on and on, but like always, time is a hindrance.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
But yes, hopefully we'll do one more with you soon, because there's so much to talk to you about.
And thank you for having me on the inaugural podcast. It'll be a podcast, right?
It will be,
ultimately.
Yes. Yeah.
Having an inaugural podcast, it's an honor, and thank you so much.
Thank
you.
And
all the best.
Thank you.
Bye.